very good afternoon and a warm welcome to UBC Lunchtime News on this 20th day of September 2023. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto. Now we start off with our first headlining story this afternoon. The Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development has emphasized the significance of the recently concluded African Climate Summit 2023. Minister Haruna, representing Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, at the official opening of the second East African Region Climate Finance event in Entebbe, called for the establishment of strategic partnerships and collaboration among governments, financial institutions and other relevant stakeholders to enhance the mobilization of additional and innovative climate finance.
I'm delighted to report that Uganda currently has fully operationalized climate finance unit in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. That is fast tracking climate finance access and mobilization, including tracking the commitments made in the February 2023 meeting. There is need for the East African region countries to build consensus around the most critical and urgent actions that are visible and at the country level to catalyze regional climate action. It is in this spirit that the first two-day East African Climate Finance Directors meeting that took place in February 2023 was convened. Member countries shared experiences and a number of commitments were made.
We need to make sure that the money is reaching the people, that it is responding to the needs of the people and the vulnerability of the countries that we are dealing with, and to make sure that we are listening in that process and that feedback loop is working. We also need to make sure that we are flexible and we are able to innovate. This is going to be a rapidly changing environment over the next few years, I can feel it. And therefore actually being able to put in place ideas but then have that feedback loop working so we can flex and adapt and make sure we are maximizing all those investments for our countries is going to be key. And important to that is transparency and accountability, because if we don't have transparency, the feedback doesn't work. So those principles are very strong, are very good, and will carry us all well as we move forward.
So these 2 days we are coming together with all the leaders from the East Africa region to talk about how we can get more ownership with the governments to access climate finance, and how can we accelerate accessing climate finance. Of course, we won't do that in 2 days, but it's to share experiences. Some countries are more advanced in carbon markets, other countries are more advanced in obtaining money from the Green Climate Fund. So these 2 days is all about sharing knowledge and making an action plan of how we can access more financing moving forward.
Thank you so much. Honorable Minister.
The National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, has launched an anti-litter and waste management campaign at the Lukaya Road Toll Market in Kalungu District. The campaign aims to raise public awareness about the detrimental effects of littering plastics and waste within communities in an effort to protect the environment. The campaign, named Yonja Uganda, is expected to be implemented nationwide. NEMA's Executive Director, Dr. Badirega Akankwasa, mentioned that they will also inspect passenger vehicles to ensure they have waste bins, starting with those on the Masaka Highway. Akankwasa outlined their plan to compel plastic-producing companies to repurchase plastic bottles, repurpose them and encourage their reuse to reduce environmental damage. We have more on this report.
going to force all the producers of plastics, because that is required by law, to establish what we call extended producer responsibility mechanism to buy back the plastics across the country so that they can be repurposed, reused and recycled. And thankfully they are all willing, because if they don't, we have no choice but to stop production, because the law already requires mandatory labeling of plastics and a buyback system. So it issued the executive order directing all urban authorities to have garbage collection bins at reasonable intervals so that there is no improper management of waste in the towns. So now these collection bins are expected to sort. When they sort, for us we shall promote them and create markets for them. Beginning with plastics, that one the market is already there. Legal to have a public passenger vehicle without a waste receptacle in it. And the punishment, the fine according to the law, is 12 million. But NEMA on 1st April, as you may be aware, we launched what we call administrative penalty scheme, where we give you an option of preferring a fine instead of going to court. So if you prefer a fine voluntarily, we fine you up to 6 million only. If you do not want to be fined, you go to court and the court can fine you up to 12 million. So we shall have operations across the country, starting with this road. That's why we have enforcement here. We shall arrest and prosecute anybody found littering. And we shall also impound the vehicles, public passenger vehicles, which are found without waste receptacles in them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now in more news this afternoon, Uganda People's Defence Forces UPDF launched yet another artillery and airstrike bombardment against the Allied Democratic Forces ADF rebels hideouts in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The strikes were carried in collaboration with Congo's FARDC army alongside the UPDF ground troops in the thick forests that intercepted the splinter groups of the wanted ADF top commanders Musa Baluku and one Abu Wakas, an Arab national. Now our reporter Haruna Mutasasira is on ground and he reports.
The ADF rebel splinter group was caught off guard when the joint forces of UPDF and FARDC launched supersonic artillery and airstrikes on a number of ADF bases situated in the thick forested jungles in eastern DRC. Fire! Strikes after strikes and heavy pounding bangs could be heard at the enemy targeted spot areas. UPDF targeted Musa Baluku camp along River Ituri in Mambasa General area and along Opa Forest, where Abu Wakasi is currently hiding. Those who could not withstand the UPDF firepower were captured. They are now under FARDC forces in Beni.
We think a lot has happened. We have achieved a lot. We have killed so many, and we continue to do that. We follow them. We think the UPDF has done a lot. We think the biggest collection of the ADF today is somewhere which we are following day and night, and soon it should be some history to talk about. So far, so good. So I would say the priority here has been ensuring security and peace within the two neighboring countries within the boundaries, and also ensuring the ADF is totally annihilated and decimated. And that, I think, is the priority that makes the Mountain Division, not necessarily me, look at what its objectives are.
The joint forces are taking the lead manhunt of the most wanted ADF top commanders, Musa Baluku and Abu Wakasi. Operation Suja commander, Major General Diko Rum urged the remaining ADF combatants to surrender or face the firepower directed at them from the Mountain Division Artillery Unit.
State Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Persis Namuganza, has proposed that a market centre be built for all presidential initiative products produced in all skilling centres as a hub. She was inspecting products showcased by trainees at Nankulabi Presidential Initiative Skilling Centre. We have more.
The students showcased leather shoes, beds, fashion designs, indoor house materials, hairstyles and designs made in the last 6 months of skills training. At Nankulabi Presidential Initiative Skilling Centre, 400 students enrolled. 300 were girls and over 50 were boys trained. At the event, the trainees appreciated President Museveni for initiating the skilling program.
Wano nga sina kyemanyi nga simanyi empiso bagikwata batya nga simanyi omugwa guno nange nga kenyini gwendawo omuntu abisibye ningamba nayo nokweri nga bamutaddeko amagezi mangi.
President Museveni tukwebaza nnyo naye asobole okwongeramu ssente mu project eno isigale nga moving on ereme kukoma kufefeka.
The State Minister for Lands and Urban Development, Persis Namuganza, appealed to President to build a market centre for all presidential initiative products from all skilling centres.
Tufune ekifo tusimbemu akatale nga ka bintu bya muzeeyi bino abaana abasikirize buli department yonna. And for us, we shall love the resources as legislators, as members of cabinet. We shall love to make sure that at least as we budget, we add more money to State House to be able to implement such a program.
Okusinga kuyamu no ateze skills endala. Mwe muli financial discipline, mwe muli okwefiiriza, mwe muli skills za management abantu bakwata otya, ezo zonna kyengezaako kubagamba kati ati weefubeeko mzee yakubadde entandikwa.
Through how to earn a living, how to be self-reliant, and you say don't go there because for you are supporting FDC or NUP, and you stop your children to go there. So we ask Ugandans to, to prioritize these projects that government bring, because the money is not for President Museveni. It's for Ugandans. We are the ones paying taxes.
Nachirembeka Rehema trained in hairdressing and makeup.
Do makeup, bridal makeup, simple makeup, all sorts of hair styling. I'm a professional lady and I feel proud of my job because right now I consider it as a job because I'm working outside there and I get money. Yet I was doing nothing before. I call it Chilerese.
Chambade Dennis dropped out of school and later trained in shoemaking and leather designing, appealed to President to invest more in youth.
Okusoma naberanga ewaka nga mberako awo nesenga wange. Project eno olwajja nangamba sobola ne tugiraba nangamba ogenda sobola n'okusoma nimugamba njagala soma. Nenjija nensoma. Batandikira mu bipapula. Olwava mu bipapula twasokera mu bipapula, olwava mu bipapula netusoma netujja ne mufuna skills zaffe zino mu bipapula, olwamala netudda ku ddiba.
The Executive Director, Directorate of Industrial Training, Byakatonda Patrick, said the students in the presidential initiative can graduate to level 1 certificate of competency.
Levels of competency. So given the levels of the presidential initiative, their level of competency is at level 1. So we are going to change the format. We have been giving them modular. We are now going for certificate of competency at level 1.
Robert Katamba, Jamilu Sekadja, reporting for UBC News.
UBC Lunchtime News. Now, Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, has conducted an operation in the city to rescue all purported street kids loitering the streets of Ginger Road, Wandegeya and Nakawa, among others in the capital, Kampala. Over 161 street children have been rescued and will be taken to Kobulin Youth Rehabilitation and Skilling Center in Napak District for rehabilitation. The operation was conducted with the help of KCCA Law Enforcement and the Uganda Police Force.
Over the years, Kampala Capital City Authority has taken lead in operations geared at removing street kids from the streets of Kampala, but often are overwhelmed with the numbers that return back to these streets. During the operation, a total of 161 street children were picked from various parts of Kampala at street junctions in the Central Business District, with most numbers hailing from Karamoja. These have been taken to Cobline Youth Rehabilitation and Skilling Center in Napark District for rehabilitation. Section 10 of the Child Protection Ordinance 2022 prohibits any person from sending a child to beg or solicit for gifts in a public place, street, office, or any business or commercial establishment. The Director for Gender, Production and Community Service at the Kampala Capital City Authority, Sheila Birungi, says there are more operations to rescue street children and design strategies targeting perpetrators behind the crime.
The ordinance is very clear. Anybody, including people that dish out money to the street kids, are supposed to be arrested. So it's not that probably we want the activity to happen, but this happens because there are so many stakeholders in this. Like I mentioned, some other people are getting money out of this, but because there is a law, we are now very comfortable that the public should see that the law is actually incriminating the people that are abusing this kind of activity.
The 161 children rescued from the street have been transported to Cobline Youth Skilling Center in Napark, which is under the Ministry of Gender and Social Development.
KCCA, and the funding is a part of KCCA budget. Some of the support comes from other partners like NGOs, and then we mentioned that we are working with the Ministry of Gender.
Some of the city dwellers, however, say the city authorities are far from achieving their goal, given that each day fresh young beggars are brought to the streets through a syndicated network that involves their parents.
Abantu bedda no balinga ngafube abantu bedda kulwaje abaana ebyo tebajjanga mu bibuga ntengo omwana okulanga okusoma kiyamba kati ogenda mu kusaaki kulanga kibukyolowooza.
In June 2022, KCCA launched the Child Protection Ordinance to protect children from abuse, including child labor and trafficking. The ordinance provides that a person who contravenes these provisions commits an offense and is liable upon conviction to a fine not exceeding 40,000 shillings or imprisonment for a period not exceeding 6 months or both. Justin Nakami reporting.
UBC Lunchtime News takes a very short break, but we'll return with more stories after these messages.
Water, please. Can I pay with Momo?
No.
Ha. Hey, can I pay with Momo? Ha.
Here's our merchant code.
Oh, very good.
7 mega?
20. Can I pay with Momo?
Unfortunately, no.
Ha. Baby, let's go.
When paying with MTN Momo comes with more benefits for everyone, it just doesn't make sense not to have it.
Hello, I have come for rent.
Can I pay with Momo?
Yes, you can.
Pay or shop with MTN Momo and get cashback every week. It's free of charge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving. Maja.
Juko, I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Uncle, you should see London.
Oh, my boy. It has been 5 years. You should see Uganda.
Yes. Uncle Marcus, that's my former school.
See, soon there will be more than 1 million children learning like this for free.
This is impressive. Do you even have connection out here?
Well, we have 100% 4G countrywide.
Okay.
We even have 5G too.
That's approximately 700 billion Uganda shillings in tax, making Airtel one of the largest corporate income taxpayers over the last 5 years, helping build a better Uganda.
Today your son saw our new Uganda.
Thank you, Uganda, for imagining it with us and making us the fastest growing telecom in the country over the past 5 years.
In Bushenyi district, we run a number of programs ranging from service delivery to wealth creation. We have the presidential initiative on wealth creation, a MUGA program, where we have 34 circles that have been given funds for the last 2 years, of which each circle received 33 million and only 2 managed to receive 50 million each. These funds have enabled the different categories of our population to engage into business-related activities, and we can see their incomes getting better. Some of them are into tailoring, others into mechanics, into carpentry, hairdressing, won't mention it. And so far, they are running their enterprises smoothly.
Hello, Mom. How did you sleep? How is Salongo? Oh, Mommy, how is Grandma? And Simba, the dog, yeah, the funny one.
Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel Bona voice bundles. Dial *100*1#, select Call Bona to choose bundles from as low as 1,000 shillings from daily, weekly, monthly, or bundles that don't expire. Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel. A reason to imagine.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us here in UBC Lunchtime News. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Now, in more news this afternoon, local government leaders have shown concern over the late release by the Ministry of Finance. Now, this, they say, affects their planning at lower local governments and sometimes leads to delayed implementation of critical projects. We have more.
So, access to credit for small farmers.
The Ministry of Finance is currently conducting regional budget consultative meetings with the local government leaders in the countryside. In northern Uganda, leaders want an improvement on the late releases, which affects the implementation of district projects, and also the ban on recruitment to be uplifted. Most local governments are currently running with a limited personnel, which affects the effective delivery of services. Too much paperwork and bureaucratic processes, according to the local leaders, cause hindrances in execution of projects.
Ugandans are very good at paperwork. I am a Ugandan because now I see there's some gap in the interministerial and sectoral communications. And that is bringing us a lot of problems.
Godino district was given a hospital, general hospital. 1st July 2021, up to today, the people of finance are saying, no wait, and therefore, you cannot recruit the staff. How do you expect the population of Godino to survive, my dear brothers? Without medical doctors in the hospital, I don't know if my teacher will report about that. No doctors, Godino hospital, it is just a hospital by name, but human resources, the personnel to serve the people of Uganda, the children of the NRM, are not there.
Kaveramaido District Planner Albert Elalo implored the ministry to provide sufficient funding for the established administrative units. At the moment, some are grappling with the rental arrears for the private spaces they occupy.
Half of the startup capital which was sent to the startup grant was used for paying rent, because these people don't have administrative infrastructure, they don't have basic office equipment, they don't have transport equipment, and they have really become a challenge. At some point, we even regret getting them.
The Assistant Commissioner, Minister of Finance, Tagola Lee, however, says plans are underway to allocate 1 billion shillings to the new administrative units.
They are planning to provide 1 billion for each as startup capital. Yes. To ensure that they relocate from wherever they have been to the new areas. So that is already going to be catered for within the budget for this financial that we are working on.
The involvement is part of the 2024-2025 national budget procedure with the objective of achieving a minimum of 6% economic growth for the year and 7% over the medium term. The upcoming budget retains the current year's theme, complete monetization of Uganda's economy via commercial agriculture, industrialization, service expansion, digital transformation and enhanced market access. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
And now into the world of sports. Uganda Dance Sport Federation has added Joint Clinical Research Center to its list of partners. The aim is to use sport to spread a message of better health through exercise to curb avoidable ailments.
Uganda Dance Sport Federation is just years in existence but has already ticked the boxes in regards to meeting demands of the new sports law that requires a federation to have a 75% national spread. On top of involving its major stakeholders, the youth across the country through schools, the federation has also engaged corporate bodies, the latest of which is Joint Clinical Research Center.
Ate tutaddemu emitendera egy'okubuulira gye tuyita kansomati, ne tuteekamu emitendera egy'endya ennungi n'okubuulira abantu ebintu bye tulina okulya, ne tuteekamu ebintu nga emizannyo oba amazina nga tukola wamu ne Uganda Dance Sport Federation. Amazina gano n'emizannyo ate bituyamba okubeera fit nga tuli b'amaanyi nga emibiri gyaffe gikola bulungi.
This latest collaboration comes as Joint Clinical Research Center celebrates 30 years of existence and targets using dance sport as therapy to ease non-communicable diseases.
We invited them to bring in professionalism. Like Daniel mentioned, sports and physical fitness is just one of that element in physical wellness. So we wanted to bring in professionalism.
So we are trying to bring all people together. We know that we need a healthy mind, and being that the generation and the population of our country, 70%, we are that age of the youth, and all of us have to be youthful, and according to the environment where we are living and our health setups. So doing sports, I think is one of the areas we have to embark on to see that we can survive.
Joint Clinical Research Center joins others like Alliance Française and French Embassy in Uganda, which are instrumental in the breaking genre of the sport that gained entry into the Olympics. John Barnes, Sentinel, UBC News.
Well, that wraps it up this afternoon with UBC Lunchtime News. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Please keep warm in Kampala City.
UBC.